Hello everyone, this is Emma Woods here. I am the HR Services Manager in Collins McNicholas Recruitment and HR Services Group. Today I am providing you with an online tutorial on the various types of interviewing. This is being completed on behalf of the Sligo Leaders Partnership with the SICAP programme. Okay, so firstly I am going to go through telephone interviewing. So it is extremely important to prepare the same way as if it were a face-to-face interview. We have already gone through various tutorial videos on how to prepare for an interview, so it is extremely important to go down through those steps. Find a quiet room, ensure that the room you are in has good phone coverage, and have a glass of water to hand. So this could be the case that prior to the interview, you go around and you test each of the rooms within your home or wherever it may be that you will be, and ensure that the coverage is good with your phone. Be conscious of the volume and tone of your voice. Interviewing can be nerve-wracking, so it's just important to be conscious of the tone, especially if you tend to be quite high-pitched when you are nervous. So just make sure as you are practicing and preparing as if it were a real face-to-face interview that you are conscious of the tone and volume of your voice when you are speaking. Here you can also practice with family and friends. That is always the best way to get a good indicator. And also change the tone in your voice as you are going through the interview. So this gives the interviewer a glimpse of your personality and your attitude. We are certainly finding that online interviewing is becoming more and more popular with companies, and this could be through systems such as Zoom, Skype, Microsoft Teams. There's various systems out there, but this certainly is becoming more and more popular. It can be the first step in the recruitment process, or even if there is an initial telephone interview, that can move on to an online interview and then finally a face-to-face interview. So it's certainly becoming part of that process. Once again, it is extremely important to prepare as if it were an in-person face-to-face interview. Remember, they will be able to see you, so it is very similar to that in-person interview. Companies want to assess what a candidate's general presentation is like, get a sense of their personality, and also potentially their fit. And that is just through gauging initially your first impression that you give off. So that is why it is generally at the beginning of a recruitment process. So very important to go through all of the key steps when preparing for an interview. Regarding panel interviewing or interview panels, it is extremely important to make eye contact with all members of the panel. And that could be the case even if it is an online panel interview. Make sure you make eye contact with them all. Introduce yourself to each of them. If it is an in-person interview, make sure you shake hands with each of them. At the end of the interview, thank each member, even if they did not ask any questions. So very important, go around, thank each of the members, make sure you make eye contact with them. And finally, one member may take notes. Generally that is the case, so just be conscious that they may not ask any questions, they may be writing throughout the whole interview, but very important to include them when you are answering as well. Should you be required to do a presentation as part of your interview, it is very important that you have all of the necessary information that is required on the topic or the subject. Even if you are given the information possibly a week prior to the interview, a day, or even a number of hours, it is very important to prepare and not go off topic. And that is all based on sitting down, gathering all of the information and pulling it all together. Be comfortable speaking about all of the information as well, and especially if you have any additional aids or materials that you are going to use as part of the presentation, make sure they serve a purpose and you are comfortable discussing them. If you are using technology, make sure to have a backup. So if it is a PowerPoint presentation you are going to be using, just make sure that the slides are printed out and have them with you. And very important to do a timed practice run. That is extremely important. Finally, due to the current health crisis, I just wanted to go down through some key considerations when completing interviews online. So firstly, make sure the technology you are using, be it a laptop, a tablet, that it is fully functional and all up to date. We would recommend to use the likes of a laptop or a tablet as opposed to a phone, unless you have a stable surface to put the phone, as if you are holding it, it could be shaking, it could be moving. So it's just important to make sure it's on a stable flat surface. Test the camera if you know that the camera is going to be on and it will be a live, video interview. So check the camera, make sure it's working, and once again, do a trial run. And that could be the case of doing a trial run with family or friends via Skype, but just make sure everything looks clear and that it is not shaking. In terms of internet access, so it could be the case that in certain areas of your home where you will be doing the interview, that the internet coverage or speed is better than other areas. So I would recommend going around to the different rooms, see where it is best. And once again, that's all through practicing. So doing a trial run. Ensure that the space you are going to use, that it is quiet with no interruptions. And also it's important to find out the length of the interview so that you know that there needs to be no interruptions. It needs to be quiet for that specific period of time. Your appearance is just as important as if it were a face-to-face interview, so just make sure you remember that and you've covered that off. Join the call 10 minutes in advance. So it's as if it were a face-to-face interview where you would turn up 10 to 15 minutes in advance of the interview. Have the same mindset that you log on to the call 10 minutes before. And that is also to ensure if there's any technology problems that you can have them fixed before the other interviewers come on. And finally, make sure your phone is off. If it is that online interview and you're using a laptop or a tablet, just make sure your phone is off. So thank you all very much for listening to my online tutorial on the various interview types. Should you wish to schedule a one-to-one phone or Skype conversation or require any remote support, please do not hesitate to get in contact with me. I have provided my email and my phone number there, so please do not hesitate to get in touch. And also, just to note, any additional support provided is fully funded by the Sligo Leaders Partnership with the SciCap programme. Best of luck with your interviewing.